Hi everyone, it's Dr. Judy and Kellaway here with you again. We're talking about white coat notes again today. This is number 3 in the series. We're going to walk through the application. I think if you're prepared for this, it's an application like you have never seen before, if you haven't seen it before. There's nothing like it. So I think if you're prepared in advance to see all that it's involving, you're going to have an easier time with it. I hope. I think that's the purpose. So let's get the slides up and get going for you. Okay, so there we go. Now, I already said there's nothing like this, right? Um, it can take 3 weeks if you're prepared and if you listen to all this advice that you're getting, or it can take up to 3 months or longer to put all of these pieces together. So I'm focusing mostly on the TMD SAS application because that's the one I know the best. There are a lot of similarities between the TMD SAS and the other major medical school applications like AMCAS and ACOMAS. This is it. These are 9 pages of questions. And the last 3 you see are attestations. 9 pages of questions. Some are going to be really simple for you, and others are going to take a long time. Here's where we get into weeks and months. Others are going to take a long time for you to get through. If you prepare now, it's fun homework, putting these pieces together little by little. I'm trying to do this fast for you because there's so much in here. I'm going to try to go fast, but there is a book. It's as cheap as I can get it and still get Amazon to print it for you. And anyway, there's a lot more detail in the book, but let's look at this. Let's look at the time it takes. From data, we know for the primary applications, your personal statement might take 6 weeks to write, put together. That's pretty fast, I think. But your activities, it's going to take up to 3 weeks to get those together and entered. The school research, like who are you going to apply to? That can take a couple of weeks there. Your transcript requests, this is why you start doing these things now, per the shoebox method, which you can see in the second video, A and B, number 2, A and B in the series. But anyway, that can take you weeks to get those accumulated so that you can fill out those sections. And then completing the application itself with all that information gathered can take you 15 hours. I don't know. So this is why grand total of up to 2 months, but other things are going to take you longer than that. Look at these secondaries. You might be asked 20 to 40 questions. Yikes. Another 20 to 40 essays you're headed for, and that can take you another month and a half or 2 even. So look at your grand total of time that it takes to do this. If you are unprepared and you just open up the application on May 1 and start to tackle it piece by piece, it's going to take you 3 months or more at least. The average is probably around 6 to 10 weeks, but I want you to be a 3 week person, a 3 week person. So here's why. You're looking at this overview and what you need to do. And again, the number 2 videos, number 2A and 2B are going to help you with all this, and all this fun homework before you get to the application is really going to help you be ready so you can do that application in 3 weeks. There is a lot to the whole process. There's a screening time, a screening period in the process. There's an interview portion of this cycle and the acceptance portion of the process, and that all of this creates a lot of anxiety and waiting, and when are you going to get screened in, and are you going to get an interview, and oh my goodness, and how long you wait then on the wait list. But it's all worth it. So you hang in there. You can pause this video and look at all of these portions or check out the book. Lots of components required before you apply. You'll have to check that for every school, what they need before they make that decision to invite you to an interview. It can be a panel. Once you get an invitation, check out, make sure you know what you're headed for. There can be a panel or group. More often, you'll run into traditional interview settings or an MMI, these SJTs. See the SJT star, that situational judgment test. You should prepare for those. So sometimes they're in the interview itself. Sometimes people ask you to answer questions that are situational on a video or a portfolio. The preview is the AAMC's test, and the Casper is another situational judgment test. So look at that. Duet is paused for right now. Then the wait list, the acceptance and wait list period, that's at that post match. In Texas, we have a match. So February, usually Valentine's Day-ish, but you'll have to check dates, is one good batch of acceptances there, sorting out the Texas applicants. And then post match, there's another acceptance period. So that's where we can pull people off of the wait list as spots open up. Process is complicated and long, and these might not be the dates when you apply. So you have to look at TMDSAS or whatever application service you are using to find the proper dates. Look at this: time going by and stress, and time and stress and time going by. Grain of sand by grain of sand. You got to hang in there. This is where you use your superpowers of patience and positivity, and you can check out that video on superpowers. It's those adjunct skills and powers from those superpowers will really help you along the way. The components: you've got your primary and secondary applications. You've got to think about your prereqs in advance. Your MCAT is a very important component and will need some attention. They say that's like a 50-hour semester. Okay, so we can talk about that. Some information is in other videos for you. Those situational judgment tests, as I mentioned, can be prepared for. It's not like a lab test that you go and then you get the result and that's just it. No, you can plan and prepare for those. You can teach yourself about decision making and how to make the most of those situational judgment tests. Letters of recommendation. There will be guidance for you along the way there. Some that, as I mentioned, people might ask you for videos or portfolios, and then there's that interview portion of the application itself. In the primary application, you see these components. You see demographics, application history, your educational history, essays, personal bio, coursework, chronology, and your attestations at the end. Let's look at some of those. Again, there's more detail in the book. Okay, if you're looking for detail, this would be way too long. I'm trying to go fast. Just some general things. There are 7,000 applications plus across the Texas schools for medical, rising at this point in time, with about more than 2,300 spots in Texas. There are way over now 50,000 applicants in America, with about 20,000 something medical school spots. So that encompasses all of the AMCAS and TMDSAS services, service areas. So it's very competitive, and I love giving you all this information in advance so that you can be prepared. Apply in your year, it means be ready, be prepared. Applying in your year means when you've got everything together in a beautiful dossier to send to the schools or the application services. It's going to ask you for your future plans as well, and you should continue learning about medicine and doing service and leadership and other activities. Luke 12:48 is the verse that says, to whom much is given, much is expected. So look at your resources and use your resources well. If your parents are physicians, for example, use them for reference and for advice and for ideas about how to reach out there and get some experiences, but do a lot of things on your own also. Okay, don't do everything with the relative who's a physician. The key question for reapplicants is going to be, what have you done to improve your application? There's a lot more detail about these general things in the application workshops that are on this channel. You need to explain your activities well with reflection. You need to, don't undersell yourself. Add everything, if you don't think it goes in there, ask somebody, because chances are I'm going to say, yes, put it in there. Don't undersell yourself. Don't oversell or repeat a lot of things. And there's a foundation of integrity across this whole thing. I add this because it's important. And also because I often get the question, I can't prove that I shadowed this many hours, or, I don't have any proof of this or that. We don't go check. We don't go check it. We can usually tell about the experiences that you've had. So that said, we also believe that there's a foundation of integrity and honesty and genuineness to this, and we think that you're going to be doing that. Um, all right, research your schools, make notes. That's a shoebox item, right? Look at the average as you're exploring the schools to which you might apply. Look at their averages, look at their curricula, see what you like, see the settings and other details about that school's experience. Again, everything counts, large and small, so be keeping track of everything you do. You might be doing things in your routine during every day that we might want to know about. All good things are good. Some are more valuable than others, and it is your journey and no one else's. No two paths are exactly the same. So keep up your hard work and working towards this goal of medical school, and we're going to appreciate your uniqueness. You might be researching where to apply. These are the TMDSAS schools. We've got 14 of them now. We've got the UT system, we've got Baylor and the A&M and the Tech system. A&M has some regional some of these schools have regional campuses. We've got the Tech system, U of H, and Sam Houston, UNT, TCOM, and those were the schools these are the 14 in the TMDSAS system, and then TCU Burnett is an AMCAS system school, and UIW uses ACOMAS. So, but you'll find out more about that as you look. So walking through the application, these are some major areas in the application, and some profile information on you, your demographics, photo. I think some important things that stand out are, of course, your metrics. Your socioeconomic and financial background information is important to us. We just want to see what your background is like. Military information, of course. We ask parental information too, that gives us an idea about your background. And there are 3 essays, 2 required, 1 optional. We like to see if you've had any educational or municipal or campus kind of violations. It's important that you answer those kinds of things with honesty and integrity. I'm sure you're remorseful about a violation, right? So tell us about that and what you've learned from that misstep. Your personal bio is your list of all your activities. That's a very, very important section. You'll list all of the coursework that you've been doing since high school, and it'll be put into a chronology. And then you've got attestations that you will read and sign. They are important. You will sign your name. When you sign your name, think about this from now on. You're going to sign orders, in, for pharmaceuticals for your patients, you are going to put your name in a signature on a patient chart, on a patient's report, on legal documents. You're going to sign your name to all kinds of things. It is very important that you understand that your you yourself as a person of integrity is there in your name. So you put your name to things, you attach your name to things, and you want your name to loudly and clearly reflect that you are a person of honesty and integrity. Okay. So if you are in a habit, maybe if you're in a place, undergrad, I think can be a place where people sign in and then quickly leave. But you've signed in that you're attending something, make sure you really do that. Okay. Your signature is of extreme, tremendous value. So I just wanted to take a moment there because you will sign your name from now on to a lot of things. And there's a lot of meaning in that. Demographics, contact info, make sure you keep up with any changes that you make. You need to update your application services, okay? So remember that the cycle is long, and if you change emails or addresses or phone numbers or something, oh gosh, and check spam. The schools are going to be emailing with you a lot, and you're going to miss them. I can't tell you how many times people have said, "Where's this?" or "Where's that?" or am I going to get an interview? And I'm like, check your spam. It's there. So make sure you check spam regularly. I like to I like to spend a moment on photos. We don't use the photo to identify you or compare it on interview day. Some schools do. So, okay, so keep that in mind and find out how they're using your photo. We do use a photo because we are biased for a beautiful professional picture. Okay, that's our bias. And so if you've got serious or bored or confused look on your face, or it's a little bit goofy, the lighting should be good. If you're in unprofessional attire, if you've got a messy background, that's on virtual interviews, of course, too. Low quality image. It tells us it's the strange angle. It tells us you are not paying attention to detail. And I want my doctors to please pay attention to detail. It means that you don't care if people don't see you as an ultimate professional. Well, we do on this side want to see an ultimate professional. Okay. And we're biased in that way. So what we love to see is a smiling face. Here's when all of my, and I don't think we're that different. I think we're pretty similar to admissions committees across the nation. When we see a picture, we are looking for a warm, smiling person. I'm thinking I'm going to go to the ER and I'm in distress. Either I'm hurting or I'm with my mom or my child who's hurting. And is this the physician in the ER that I want to see coming towards me? So it means I need somebody who looks like a professional, who looks like they pay attention to detail, who spiffs up a little bit for the occasion to see a patient. Okay, even though you're seeing 50 a day. So that's what I'm looking for. That's what our committee is looking for. So there are some things that might be passable. Um, there are sometimes photos that are deal breakers, and you should know that. If you're slapping something together without thinking and about how this looks to us, it's important to us. So you should take a little time and not do something. So you can see some things, party pictures are not good, angles and cleavage. We don't want to see more party pictures. Like this is great that you do like bouldering or whatever that is. So that's like so super. But we're going to read about that in your application. So you don't need to, that should not be your picture. And you visited Paris. Awesome. Awesome. Tell us about it. But I can't tell who you are in that picture. Okay. You're too small against the background. But there are some lovely pictures here that you should take an example from. And when we see a picture and it's a very professional picture and it's a smiling face conveying warmth and friendliness, and I am ready to listen to you, that's that's a future physician we want to see. And that's the first thing we often see. So we go, oh, look at that beautiful picture. Look at that beautiful smile. Common comments in our committee. So messy hair, costumes, doing like hand signals for your school and stuff. It's forgivable, but it's just not the best thing. Okay. So that's what we like. Um, your email should not be a goofy one. It should be a professional thing. It should be your name or, some configuration. It shouldn't be anything too creative. That shouldn't be your professional communications email. More about email later in professionalism, but coursework and prereqs. This is for, in general, these are some common requirements across the TMDSAS schools and other schools as well. You'll have to see what schools want individually, okay? And so you need to do this early on in your academic path to make sure you're getting to all of these prereqs. Coursework information. This is why I made that shoebox for you and share it, is because these 11 things are 11 items that are asked about every course you have ever taken since high school, or if it was a college course, dual credit, for example, distance learning, those kinds of things. Every course since high school courses, we are asking you, the TMDSAS application is asking you these 11 things. And, we add stuff all the time. So do it now, map it out, do fun homework and fill out some of these things. And then when it comes your time to fill out the real application, you'll be ready and it'll all be in there. We ask you about your metrics. So you want to keep track of these things. It helps you know what your trajectory is, but we look at your metrics, your GPA and your MCAT in several different ways. Okay. I don't know, we have like 16 different ways that we look at your GPA, non-science, science, semester by semester, science and non-science. And we look for trends and dips and things and gaps and things like that. We look at how many credits, when and how you obtain those credits. What else was I going to say about that? Oh, distance learning. There you go. AP credit, dual credit, things like that. Honors program and international baccalaureate. We pay attention to all those things. We see your MCAT subscores, of course, including cars. Everybody asks about cars. We don't have any data to show right now that I know to this date that shows a correlation with cars and success in medical school. That was a big thing when the new MCAT came along that we were looking for, but we haven't seen it yet. We look at how many times you've taken the MCAT. We look at what's happening with that trend. When did you take it? And most schools are asking for the most recent one can't be more than 3 to 5 years. Okay, so there's a timeline on the MCAT. If your path is taking you a little bit long to get there, like some of us. So your height, we do ask you some high school information, so have that ready. If you don't know where your SAT or ACT is, start gathering that, putting it in your shoebox. Okay. Next, your college education. So you'll look for that um, okay, next you'll look at you'll have to fill out. Okay, next you'll have to fill out some information about the colleges you have attended, and that's a federal education code there, so you'll have to find that. They want to know your semesters and years, if you're in an honors program or have a double minor or double major, things like that. So they want all of those details about your colleges, college information, if it's your primary undergrad, and they ask you to, if you would like to release information to health advisors. So all of that stuff is very, very helpful. If you have been out a while, so you're a non-traditional student, sorry, I think you should look into Fresh Start, especially if you had like a rough time the first time around. And what Fresh Start used to say was if you are 10 years away from your undergrad degree, you graduated, say, 10 years ago, or more, and you now have gone in a post-bac program or something to go back and take your prereqs, and you're doing well and now you know how to do it. If you apply to a new bachelor's program, there's some details. This turns people off, but please pay attention and like look at some other information we have for you about Fresh Start. If you're applying to medical school, for example, in 2028 and you graduated in 2018, they will wipe out your coursework. We don't see it. Your degree is not wiped out, but your GPA, the courses contributing to that GPA that we do see, is wiped out 10 years and prior. Because sometimes it takes some of us a little while to figure out, study skills and how to do this. So it's excellent. We have recently in the Texas legislature revisited Fresh Start. So now schools can designate the number of years. And so some schools might remain at 10 years when you invoke a Fresh Start program and start a new bachelor's degree. But some schools are doing 5 years. So you can do 5, 6, 7, 10 years. So now that's something else for you to investigate what schools are going with the lower numbers now that you've got that academic strength with you. All right. You'll have to list any educational disruptions, mission trips, educational, just like, probation or something like that, university infractions, these things. We'll want to know about those things. And as I said earlier, I think if it's a violation that is causing an interruption, then you should think about it and give us some thoughtful responses. Personal biography, this is Shoebox part 2, but you can go and find that video easily. Very, very, very important. We go into this for an hour. Lots of things about the activities that you're accomplishing for your application. It's going to ask you to do primarily, it's going to say list activities that are post-graduation from high school. We're going to forgive you for a couple of things that maybe happened in high school that were very important. A lot of people would list a Eagle Scout accomplishment, for example, or you've accomplished some certificates, some related to medicine or otherwise, healthcare or otherwise, and those can be listed in your extracurricular section. But these things, and reflection is so important. Again, you can find all this in the shoebox, but we're going to ask you a bunch of things about every single activity. So if you get this all, your log may not be the same as what they're asking you. So if you prepare and log the things that they're going to ask you in the application service, it's going to be a lot faster. Okay. So there are several different reasons why you should get all this teed up in advance, and it's fun homework. It's another piece of that fun homework. Don't inflate your hours. If you have something that's going to ask you for weekly, look at this, weekly hours per week, and then total. What if you do 1 hour here, a whole summer worth of hours more regularly during periods like a summer or a semester? You will have total hours, and then just take those total hours and average them over that time. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Anyway, I think you get the idea. Planned activities section is important. Don't stretch this out too much. If you've got all of your shadowing and healthcare, scribing, and some important community service or leadership in the plan section, it might not be your year to apply. Okay. So if you're continuing an activity or you're starting a new activity in June after you submit in May or something like that, then that's what this area, that's what this section is for. If hours extended way out into the planned activities are going to trigger some comments from committee. So make sure you are as genuine and truthful as you can be. You will have to approximate sometimes, but don't exaggerate that approximation. It makes it look like you're not ready and that you're trying to pump things up. Okay. Essays, remember, answer the prompt. We've got some more for you on the other video about personal statements. Answer the prompt. Use examples from all these activities that you've done in your essays. If you're a reapplicant, you do need to rework the essays. And I skipped personal statement, personal attributes, very important. And when you trade and have people read your essay or trade with classmates and that kind of thing, ask those people reading your essay, not just to say, oh, good, or, comment on this or that. Ask them what personal attributes come across in that essay specifically, and because that's what we're looking for in there. Are you humble and kind and devoted and committed and passionate about this? Are you excited about this? So just think about it that way. Beware of your placeholders. Sometimes in the essay, we even see like some characters that are thrown in there. It's pretty rare. Make sure you go over your whole application step by step before you hit submit. Save often. Team DSDS will tell you save often. Watch your space count. Your character count and spaces do count in the character count. Don't abbreviate unless it's a very common knowledge, okay? So, because we don't always know what you're talking about. They'll tell you don't cut and paste because sometimes some characters come out a little wonky when you cut and paste. These are the current character counts for the essays and the activities section. You can pause the video here, but always check the handbook for the application services because they'll tell you new character counts if there's anything changing. And we change things on you all the time, so sorry. We're trying to improve things. As this is the prompt for essay 1. Be mindful of the second part of that. Be sure to include the value of your experiences that have prepared you. Essay number 2, describe your personal qualities, characteristics, skills, or strengths. This is a new one. Okay, if you're a reapplicant or don't know yet, this is a new one coming soon to you and has and strengths and how they'll contribute meaningfully to the lives of others. This is a reworked prompt and it is required, and we have decreased the character limit for you. So great place to write about your personal attributes and your cultural experiences with other people not like you, and your interactions there, so we can see that you understand and appreciate, respect, and dignify people of all sorts. Okay, because that's who you'll be taking care of. Essay number 3 is going to be another place where you can put anything that you haven't talked about before. Sometimes people put some background in their mission trips. If you want to expand on anything, talk about the languages or other things that you're learning, academic interest. So make sure if you're explaining a bad semester or bad grades or bad MCAT that you don't have it sound like an excuse. Okay, tell us how you learned to study better or something like that. Leadership travel. You can even put several. We see, I like it. People use this space well, and they want to tell us about two things. So they use one paragraph or two to talk about one topic, and then they change topics completely. So that's perfectly fine, in my opinion. So you should ask other people about it. The chronology. So once you complete all that activities section, your personal bio section, your chronology, you don't have to list it all again. Your chronology is pulled from your activities section. If there is a 3-month gap, that will trigger an alert to you on the application, just so you know. I guess the point is, and it's a good point anyway, you should always be doing something working towards your application. That's, what can I tell you? Those are the 4 building blocks, an Easter egg in a few of these other videos for you. So you need to change, it's a hassle to change things manually. So make sure you do a complete personal biography entry, and then this will pull better. So if you get all these things done in advance, you'll breeze right through it. Oh, look, here are the 4 building blocks. So if it's not your year, if you're going to do a gap year, we love gap years. More and more people are doing it. I don't know what you're hearing in advisory sessions or anything, but I think a gap year is great. We ask you to do too much in 4 short years. So City Year, Peace Corps, AmeriCorps, work and research, all these things, teaching, mission trips, Teach for America. We value so many things. You can plan this wonderful gap year. You can use your gap year to get your MCAT out of the way. Now you can devote days, weeks and months to MCAT study, so that you can go to the library all day, every day for 2 months. You get a lot accomplished that way. Here are the 4, here's an Easter egg for you. The 4 building blocks in any chunk of time that you have, the summer, a semester here, a semester there, you should be well. These are the 4 things you should be doing in any semester. Work your brain. So if you're out of school, study for the MCAT counts. So that's working your brain. But if you're out and the job is your primary time commitment in this segment, then you should be taking maybe a free Khan Academy course or 2. But take it like it's serious, and take it seriously, and study that course to work your brain. You should continue to explore medicine. You all often think of exploring, doing the medical things or the healthcare things as scribing and shadowing, these big things, these big commitments. You can do it in small ways as well, as long as you have those other experiences. You can do this by reading a book about medicine, read a book about a patient, read Henrietta Lacks, read some medical humanists, read old school stuff like William Carlos Williams or Richard Seltzer, read some of the new medical humanists. Lend a hand means continue your service and sacrifice to others. You want to do this because you want to help people. So this is a good thing to continue to do for you and for the people that you're helping. And learn something new. That's your personal growth plan. Okay, so that's a video you can refer to. Very, very good thing to add for a competitive application. All right, letters of recommendation. Make sure you check out the requirements in the application service. So right now, TMDSAS will accept 3 individual letters or 1 committee letter, with 1 additional letter acceptable to upload. And you can use, if it's an immediate reapplication in the next year, if your writers will just redate that letter, it will be acceptable to the schools. What else do I want to tell you here? I think you will waive the right to see the letter. Some schools will let you upload some other letters, so watch that. Ask before you put somebody's name that you're going to ask. You're going to put into TMDSAS your letter writers. Make sure you ask them first, so that it's not a surprise. make sure it's someone you know them well. We have these very, very common rules, guidelines rather, that you should know. Your professors, school administrator, a supervisor for research, your PI, work supervisor as well. A course you did well in, start talking to if you're in school now, start talking to people, knowing that they might be someone that you're gonna ask for a letter uh, from in a few years. So I do not think they need to all be from science professors, okay? Because then sometimes you're reaching and you're getting somebody from some huge class and they don't really know you, and we can tell it's rather a generic letter. That's not a bad thing. We understand it, but it's just not very meaningful. It's not a meaningful addition to your application. So less valuable. No personal or neighbors, no personal friends, and neighbors really. So they're not just less valuable, they kind of seem like a stretch. And somebody is gonna, you got lots of people who love you so much and want to see you be successful, but their letter is not going to be additive. Okay. It needs to be a professional affiliation. Okay. Um, more about how to ask. All right. It's so nice when people ask us for letters of recommendation to get a photo, even maybe some points from your personal statement, maybe some things, some qualities about yourself that you think are strong. Put all of these things together. Put your personal timeline and a official deadline for your letter writers to see, with some detailed instructions. Here is where you upload it. Here's Interfolio. Here's how it will be submitted. So that is all very helpful when you are asking a person to write your letter. Okay. All right. There's the interview process. You've got all these different types of interview. They can be in person, usually still they're virtual. And again, on that interview, the White Coat Notes interview video will be coming soon. Okay, there's an old one on there right now, I think. Lots of questions answered that on that video, but there'll be more on the update. Match process, TMDSAS on their website has some great videos for you about the match process. It is the same process that we use here in Texas for right now. Our Texas residents only, okay, go into this match. It helps. There are so many in the Texas pool, and it just helps sort everybody out at one point in time very efficiently. But that's not the match. In mid-February, Valentine's Day, is not the end of the process. Then we still, at this point in time, have many months of the wait pool period. Okay, so anyway, the match process goes like this. Here's our applicant, and let's see what we get. She's interviewed at several schools. She's interviewed at these 5 schools, okay, and a variety of schools in Texas. She has pre-matched to school E. Okay, she's putting her rank list together now. She has used tab number 13 on the shoebox to compare schools and what she's learned about the schools through her research before, and then what she's learned about the schools during the interview process and beyond. So she loves school number C and has some real concrete reasons in that Excel that she created on page 13. She loves uh, school A next and E next, and then she's going to put D and B. So that's her rank order. That's her list in rank order. Those are the schools where she interviewed, so she can rank those schools. She has a pre-match at E. So at school E. So automatically then D and B go away. So she is not accessible to those schools anymore because at this one point in time, she has put E above them. So those 2 schools go away. But she's going to be a doctor, and going to school E, which she listed lots of great things about on her Excel. Now she is open. So at the match period, she sees that she has withdrawn through the match for D and B. She's no longer reachable that way, but she is open to school A and school C. So she has the rest of the wait pool period to see if they have open spots if she makes it off of the wait list at school A and C. You should check and see about how schools manage their wait list. Anybody we interview is put on our wait list. So that's how we do it. And so, yeah, we hope, you've got that whole period to kind of work your way up on the list. Sometimes you get a pre-match at your school. Well, that's a good thing to mention here. If she is going to rank, she's thinking about this all beforehand, and she's going to rank C number one after all of this research that she's done. Once she knows that and gets a pre-match, for example, at C, she ought to kindly do a kindness to all the other schools, tell this pre-match school here, thank you so much. And a short and sweet and professional email is very much appreciated by the schools who might want to give somebody that pre-match offer. But what the applicants tend to do is hang on to all of them until the match. So it'd be nice to see some turnover so that other people can get some pre-match offers there. But what else was I going to see? Those go away. I had some things for you there. So, okay, good. We are at the closing now of walking through the application. I hope that was helpful for you. I tried to be fast and shorter and sweeter, but there you go. So you've got some books out there on Amazon, 3 at the moment. More are coming by the end of the year, hopefully 10 books and 10 videos. So there's a book on walking through the application. There's a lot more detail in this book. Here is your QR code to access easily those the links to get you to the books on Amazon. There's the shoebox that gives you all these resources. But if you're on this YouTube channel, you probably have seen that already. Anyway, thank you so much for being with me again today. I hope all your questions are answered. I hope you continue to do good work, keep working towards your goals. Be excited about it. It gets closer and closer every day. Keep doing good things, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.